My friends over at DxO have been cooking up something pretty sweet that just came out this past week, and that is the newest version of the Nik Collection. We are now on Nik Collection 9. I've been using the Nik Collection since feels like the Stone Ages, and so I'm always really excited when a new update comes out like this one, especially with some of the incredible new features that they have added this year for those of you landscape, outdoor, wildlife photographers out there like myself. There's just so many good features. And I will mention that if you are going to pick up the software at any point while watching this video, I've got a link down below that you can use and a discount code that you can use here as well to help you save a few dollars for new customers of DxO. So in this year's update, there is a ton of new stuff, just so much new stuff that is awesome. I'm just going to cover a few of the best features for those outdoor photographers like myself, wildlife, landscape, all that good stuff. But there is a lot of new features as well that you can certainly find on their website and on other videos across the web. But let's just cover some of those nice features. I'm going to be launching one photo from Lightroom to show you how that works, another one from Photoshop to show you how that works. And then of course, there's a lot of other editors that you can launch the Nik Collection from. But let's jump in there first into the image into Lightroom. So I've got this image here and I like the photo, but I want to make this background a little foggier because I remember this being a rainy, wet day and it's just a little lacking that fog in the background, and our elk here kind of blends into the background. So if I was to do this within Lightroom's masking tools, you can see this is how I would add that fog just using some dehaze. You'll see the problem from within Lightroom's masking tools is when I zoom in here, you've got like a weird halo edge here that we're creating when we toggle this before and after. And that is because our subject selection mask, which we've created here, it doesn't quite select the subject very nicely. You can see there's just a lot of weird gunk going on. So for that reason, we need to look to something else to create a little bit cleaner subject selection. And that is where this filter within the Nik Collection is really going to work nicely. So I'm going to open Color Effects. We're going to right click on the image here, and then we're going to go to Edit In and down to Nik 9 Color Effects. These are the settings that I'm going to use. We'll hit Edit and let that load in. Now, this is going to launch it directly from Lightroom. When you save, it saves directly back into Lightroom, so it's really nice and seamless way to edit your photo here. Now, again, I'm going to show mostly just color effects here, but there is some updates to the other suite of Nik Collection apps. But color effects is definitely where we're going to be for most of our outdoor photographers like myself. Now, once we're in here, we've got a whole slew of really nice effects here. I've talked about some of these in older reviews of the Nik Collection, but I'm just going to show you the ones that I'm going to use today and talk about some of the new features. There are a couple of new filters here. We're going to talk about one of them in the next photo, but for this photo, we're going to use one of the older filters, which is down here, Graduated Fog. We're going to click on that. Now, I will show you what is new, and that is how good the local adjustments are for this photo. So you can see, this fog looks good. Maybe we want to increase the diffusion and maybe adjust the shift there, increase the intensity. Okay, we've got fog in the background, but now our subject is also foggy, so it doesn't make sense. So we need to make our subject not quite as foggy. So we're going to use a mask to do that. Now we can go down here to local adjustment. You've got lots of new ways to make masks here. You have object and area selection AI, which both work really well. But what I think is really going to work well for those of us shooting photos like this is the depth mask. Depth mask is absolutely incredible. So we're going to click and create a depth mask. We'll just click on the image just like that. It's going to create the depth mask. This takes just a second. And you can see it looks pretty bad off the start because we need to expand this depth mask. So the way that I actually like to do this is click here on the masking overlay options, and we are going to select B&W mask. Now this is going to show us a mask. So just like a mask in Lightroom or Photoshop, anything that's white allows the effect to shine through, anything that's black does not. So we want the background to be white and the elk to be black, essentially. Now we can adjust our anchor points here to affect which part of the image. And again, this just uses AI to determine the depth of everything in the photo. So very cool way to edit here. Now we do want this all the way to the right side because we want everything in the background selected. And then we will bring this left side marker open just a little bit. And anything that's in between these two markers on the top is going to be completely in the selection. Anything that is between the marker and then this one on the bottom here is like feathered out. So we can kind of feather the effect a little bit to make it just a little bit more realistic. So we're going to feather that out just like that, to where we are selecting everything in the background and everything but this elk here. We're going to go back to mask overlay. Now we can see we're looking pretty good. Now it is a little bit strong, so we're just going to tone it down just a hair, just like that. But now when we zoom in, you will see, and I'm actually going to change this to no mask so we can see it a little bit better. You'll see that we don't have the same issue that we had in Lightroom, because the mask has created a much better looking mask. We can toggle this before and after. You can also select one of these options to adjust the compare. So you can see left is before, right is after. So we're just adding this in to this image and creating this nice fog behind the subject. And it has done a pretty impressive job of making that selection there around the fur. This is obviously a very, very highly detailed subject, and so it's done a really nice job there. Now there's a lot of other filters as well. Another one of my favorites, maybe I'm old fashioned, but I love the levels and curves here. So you can click on this plus button here. This was added a few versions ago in the Nik Collection, but adding the plus button allowing you to combine multiple filters in one. So you can see that we still have this graduated fog up here. Now we have levels and curves. Let's say we want to darken this foreground. So we're just going to grab our curve here and drag this down to darken the photo. Now it's darkening the whole photo. I just really want to darken this foreground. We'll go in, add a local adjustment. We can use anything that we want here, but let's use the depth mask again because I really liked what that did on the first image. So now I want to just select the foreground. We'll click here, and now you can see it's made a good selection of the foreground. Now, you can see that it's only selecting this kind of weird portion of bushes. I probably want to bring this all the way over to select everything at the front of the image, and then I probably want to feather this out just a little bit. And I don't quite want it to hit my elk there. I want to get just about everything but somewhere in there. You can even lower this here if you really want to feather this effect out, just like that. And then adjust our curve here to kind of fine tune this for each image. You can see before and after. And then of course you can go in if you wanted to subtract something from the photo, like if it was over painting on this elk a little bit or over masking, you could go in and subtract from that as well. But now you can see we'll use this slider here, before and after, two very, very simple effects that just help to kind of shape the light in my photo. Now, speaking of shaping the light, let's jump in and look at our other example here, which is going to be over in Photoshop. So no difference. You're going to have the exact same options when you load in from Photoshop, but the only difference is that you can do things like, edit as a smart object. Benefit of a smart object, as you can see, I have a smart object here indicated by this little, whatever you want to call this. This allows me to go back and readjust the settings later. So if I apply this filter onto the smart object, I can then go back and edit the adjustments later if I don't like what I did, basically doing it non-destructively. Whereas doing it in Lightroom, everything is going to be destructive. You have to completely scrap the edits and restart if you want to adjust it. So now it's on the little filter bar here, but you can also go up to plugins and go to Nik Collection 9. Just like before, we're going to open this up, but this time we're going to do it right here or up in that plugins that I just showed you. So you're going to hit open. That's going to give us access to all the same settings and adjustments that we had before, completely the same here. And now we're going to use a couple different effects on this photo. So on this image, I want to show you a new filter that they've added that's actually pretty fun for landscapes, which is called Halation. And this is similar. Let's change the view here. This basically just creates some glow. It's like a halation filter that you would use, back in the film days, or that soft, classical film look. So I like what this is doing, but I don't like how red it is. So, this is just the start. And so we're going to make some adjustments here. Now, if you adjust things over here on the right, like intensity, that makes it stronger or weaker. The spread adjusts how far the bleed over is, essentially. And the sensitivity adjusts how much it can select. So I'm going to increase the sensitivity just a little bit so it selects a little more over here. You have advanced adjustments if you want to make it blur more, which is always good usually. And then you can make it glow a little bit more if you'd like as well. So adjust those settings as you see fit. Now you can do no colorization or you can do colorization. Colorization makes it so you add color. If you don't do colorization, it won't add any color. And you can make this whatever color you feel like makes sense for your image. So I like the way that that's looking. It's obviously quite strong. We can lower the opacity or we can go up and lower the intensity, either one. But I'm feeling like this is looking pretty good before and after. So it just gives us that really soft, glowy feel that we're looking for in the image. Now, last thing here I want to show you is definitely one of the most powerful ways to use this tool. We're going to again open a levels and curves, and I'm going to show you how you can literally shape light in your photos to like in this case, we're going to brighten the background and darken the foreground to create some depth in the photo. So let's go in here. Let's brighten the background first. Let's just bring the curve up just like that. We're going to go in to add a local adjustment. We're going to grab a depth mask just like that. And we're going to click on the background just like that. Super simple, super easy. Now we are going to do the black and white mask to look at the overlay. It's already doing a pretty nice job. It's selecting the background, which is basically exactly what we want. We can play with, some of these features here to kind of make it a little bit softer around this rock, which I don't mind because there is a little bit of light bleeding over in there. So I'm actually okay with doing that. And so that looks pretty good. Okay, so now let's go back and let's look at the image. So I'm going to check no mask. Now I can adjust this. So you can see how now we are almost like adding some light in there. Because when I toggle this, so you can see we've made this background just a little bit brighter. Now let's do the opposite, and that's really going to bring this effect home. So we're going to go ahead and grab another levels and curves there. And this time we are going to darken the effect quite a bit, about like that. Now let's add another local adjustment, grab our depth mask again, and we will click here right on the foreground. And you can see when I open my masking options here that it's made a little bit of a refined selection. So let's just open that up. First of all, we want to select everything in the foreground just like that. And then let's move this further into the background because we want to brighten everything but kind of that central area. Somewhere about in there. Probably looks good. Let's go back. Let's do no mask. And now we can toggle this. We can kind of fine tune this adjustment to be exactly what we want. That's looking pretty good. Now let's look at the before and after on the whole image. You can see we've really shaped the light in this photo using that depth masking. The last thing that I might do is go back in and darken these clouds, which we can again really easily do with a levels or curves adjustment. We'll go in here and oops, we want to change this the compare view back. We're going to darken this up again, just like that. All right, this time let's try a object selection. We'll select object selection, and you can see as I hover up here, it gives me a really nice selection of the sky. And we can go in here if we want and make adjustments to this, but it looks pretty good just to begin with. We could go in and add, if you wanted to add like a control line here, just to make a better selection up top. And I think this is looking pretty good. Now let's go in, make some adjustments. Of course, you'll have to change this back to no mask. And now you can see we're just selecting those clouds. So we're able to make those nice and dark. So I'm really liking the way that's looking. You can see we started before kind of a flat image. After we've made things really bright. And if you're finding after you make all these adjustments, maybe this center effect, the first effect is too bright, you can scroll all the way back up here and you can just lower the opacity just a little bit. And you could do the same thing on, I believe this is the layer that we brightened, the center. I could go back in and drop that just a hair. So very easy to make these adjustments back and forth and to really kind of shape the light in your photo. This is such a fun way to shape light, and it is so powerful. Once you're done, go ahead and hit apply. Let that thing load back out into Photoshop, and you can see now it applies here under the smart object. So I can double click this to reopen this, and this is really the benefit of doing it in Photoshop. Now I have access to all of these adjustments again. So if I wanted to change this adjustment, I really easily could do that. So hey, that's a wrap. Again, lots of great stuff in the Nik Collection 9, a lot more than what I've showed you here, but these are going to be the best and most useful features for those of you who like to shoot photos like me, landscapes and wildlife. Now again, I love the Nik Collection because it does have the perpetual license model, meaning you buy it once, you own it forever. If you buy the Nik Collection 9 today or tomorrow or the day after, you'll own Nik Collection 9 forever. One-time payment, you don't have to keep paying, so you get rid of that annoying subscription model. And again, I've got a discount code right here for those of you who are new customers to the Nik Collection 9. If you've been thinking about getting Nik Collection for a while now, this is definitely a reason to spring for it and to jump for it. Lots of really incredible and highly customizable features that are going to help you take your landscape and wildlife images to the next level. If you guys have any more questions about the Nik Nik Collection 9? Let me know down below in the comments. Love to hear from you guys, and I'd love to help you by answering your questions. Thank you guys so incredibly much for being here. As always, my name is Austin Jackson. Appreciate you so much. Make sure to leave me a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya.